Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Earthen's Den. And in this episode, I just want to let everybody know that the greatest gift that you can give yourself is to accept yourself. To accept yourself for your shortcomings and to recognize the ways in which you're not as strong, right? Recognize the areas in which you're ignorant and you have little knowledge and you have little experience, right? I think the greatest gift, truthfully, really is humility. I realize so many people, especially a lot of people who find God in like a religious sense, they really take on this persona of self-righteousness. They want to come to tell you what God said in the Bible. And it's funny because it's really their own interpretation, right? Like that doesn't mean that there's any truth to that. You know what I mean? But it's their truth and it's the way they interpreted that content. And, it's just crazy, and I realize that so many people oftentimes turn to God and it's not really in a sense of like to be one, right? Or to be like the next person in a space of relation and just oneness, it's more so just to say, I'm better than you. I can judge you. I can just, it's almost like an ego gratifying thing. It's like, I just want to say that I enter into this space and I know more than you. I'm closer to God because you know what I mean? And it's crazy. And I tell people all the time that God is truly an experience. In order to find him, he's right next to you. He's all around us. You know what I mean? And it's something that's a relationship that can be cultivated through conversation and through prayer and meditation. It's not anything that needs to be taught. Quite frankly, I don't think that God can be taught, though his teachings, some people have been given the calling, right, to teach his teachings. But even still, you got to be very discerning, and because at the end of the day, it's all about interpretation. So that's why we talk about discernment. And it's like, does that minister, does that whoever's prophesying in your life, does that feel good within your soul? You know what I mean? Does that feel like a confirmation? And, I just see it so often. And so many people are so quick to step into those spaces just to be judgmental of other people. It's crazy. And then you want to sit here and so it makes a lot of sense why people turn away from just the idea that there is a God. And I completely understand it. And it's sad because you have so many people who run to that. And it's nothing more just to gratify their ego, to say, oh, I'm closer than this and you need to do that. And you know what I mean? And it's crazy because it's like, man, look at the lessons that you're learning. I'd say it all the time. Like, I really think the greatest gift you can give yourself is acceptance for who you are. Acceptance for your shortcomings, acceptance for the person that you're becoming, you know what I mean? And acceptance for your past and your mistakes and everything that you're not proud of, own it. Because it made you and it doesn't define you, and don't listen to anybody who tries to come and prophesy in your life and they make you feel bad about your decisions. They make it seem like they are some, the worst thing that I think that we have in today's society is leadership. So many leaders, man, I can't tell you how many times I've been in positions with people who were in leadership and they were, supposed to be leading me in a certain area in my life, whether it was like a job or whatever. And they get such a kick out of you making the mistake, you being incompetent in this area, which is very evident. That's why you're not the leader, right? And it's almost like they get a kick out of that. They love that. To me, it's just wasted energy. If somebody doesn't know something, I'm going to teach it and they're going to know it. They're going to learn it and that's fine. But it's almost like when we see that somebody's struggling in any area of our lives, we want to point at them. We want to laugh at them. We want to condemn them to that space and we want to hold them there and we want to point the finger and we want to judge them and we want to talk about them, right? Because then we don't have to deal with our own stuff. We can feel better about ourselves. We can feel better about the situations. We can feel better about whatever it is that we're avoiding. Because at the end of the day, we all want to feel like we matter. And in the previous podcast episode where I talked about validation, I believe that is what births that. Like when we're in spaces and we don't feel like we matter, we got to then build ourselves up, right? And so then that's when arrogance comes in. That's where this judgmental type of persona comes in. That's where this self-righteousness comes in. And you know what I mean? And it's so evident. But at the end of the day, that's nothing more than it's faulty, right? Look at the foundation. Look what you had to build it on. And so it's really insecurity, and it just shows up in the ugliest ways. And I just can't stand it. I wish more people would step into those spaces because quite frankly, I think that we've all been in spaces of our lives where we've been not so proud of our actions, right? And we've fallen short and we've made certain decisions that were sometimes continuous, right? We hit our head a couple times. It's life, you know what I mean? And I just think whenever you feel like you want to step into somebody's life and speak into somebody's life, and you don't really have the best intentions, like really check yourself. Because the thing about life, and I think this is so true, when I look at people's lives and they complain, and, you know, even times in my life and just all of these things, right? It's so evident, the fruit, what you sow is what you're going to reap. So you just want to be mindful of that. Like, if you're not called to speak into somebody's life, don't speak on it. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't speak on it. And it wasn't always like this for me. Of course, I went through it. That's why I'm talking about it, because I experienced it. But it's like, you know, life will have the harshest ways of humbling you. So if you see somebody's situation, you see somebody's life, and you're so uppity about it, and you want to just have something to say about it, just don't. So I'm telling you, spare yourself that karmic reward. Like, don't say anything, because you don't understand. If anything, seek understanding, you know, and it's the simple principles that are actually placed in the Bible that people don't apply, but everybody want to take it. And I'd be so sick of it, y'all. I really do. And so I hope that this podcast episode is really brief, but I hope that it frees somebody from all that ridicule, especially if you're dealing with people who are in those spaces, in those religious spaces, and they just feel like they're so self-righteous, and, you know, they're all about themselves, all about making themselves feel good. They call themselves, you know, being close to God and having a relationship with God, but then they come into your life and they make you feel like crap. Right. And this isn't a matter of, oh, I'm giving my power away to make somebody feel like this. This is this person's intentions. Right. That they're condescending. They're belittling. You know, it's crazy, man. Like, I think to even step into people's lives and you want to tell a person everything that they're doing wrong, or you want to tell a person all their faults, that's insane. Like, you're so bold. You are so bold, because don't we all have them? You know what I mean? It's like, what planet do you live on? Like, where'd you come from? Are you like heaven sent? Like, let me come, you know, live in that space with you. That's crazy, you know. And it just goes back to the things that we were talking when we were younger. If you have nothing nice to say, just don't say nothing at all, you know. But I definitely get so sick and tired of people just putting themselves in those high places on their own pedestals, thinking that, you know, that they're called to do certain things when the fruit is not evident. You know, and if you say you're speaking to somebody's life, I think that person should walk away feeling inspired if it's God sent, right? Because God's good. You know what I mean? So what? You know, and that's what I say, like, you got to be mindful, because some people, they pick and choose what principles they want to apply. You know what I mean? And then they enter into that space, and it's like, that's so whack, you know? So I hope that this episode was liberating to anybody who's in that space, and just always be mindful, you know, before you place judgment on somebody, because just seek that understanding. And no, you're not perfect. Yes, we're all going to have times where we say and do things that we're not proud of, that we don't really mean, that are, you know, sometimes projections. Of course, that's fine. But, you know, just make a conscious decision and try to just make an effort to, you know what I mean? And you're still probably going to mess it up, because you're human. You know what I mean? Like, you're human. Some days you're going to be, you know, doing great. You're going to be out there sowing great seeds and shedding light. And other days you're going to be like, you know what? That lady really, you know, she really, you know, she deserved that. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be in this space where you're like, oh man, she's, you know what I mean? But just try to just be mindful of how you treat people, because it comes full circle. It comes full circle, like, always. So, yep. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you guys with your thoughts, and I hope everybody has a great day. I had to sing that intro, that outro, because that's the energy, freedom, liberation. Okay.